All right, we're back with the second installment of how to win in a multiple offer situation. If you missed the first video, go back and check it out. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the strategies that you can use that don't really cost you any money, but can be wildly beneficial when you're in that multiple offer situation. I'm Joe Schwartzbauer, your favorite Twin Cities realtor. Let's get into some of these right now. One of the first big things is sit down and have a strategy session with your agent. This is something that I do with every single one of my buyers, and we go over all of these options well before you're writing an offer. We don't want you to have to think about all of these scenarios for the first time when we're under the gun to get an offer in when there's an offer deadline. This also allows me as the agent to convey to the other agent, the listing agent, that you have sat down for a strategy session. You are very well aware of all the steps in the process that it's going to take to purchase a home, and you are fully educated on just what you're doing. This is going to give the seller and the listing agent a little additional peace of mind that you guys aren't just first-time home buyers throwing an offer out there hoping for the best. It's letting them know that you are fully educated, which is really important. As we talked about in the first video, there's two main things that sellers are really looking for. One is price, and number two is certainty of closing. So how can we give sellers that certainty of closing a little bit more? One of the options is to go through upfront underwriting. Now, underwriting is a process with your lender that typically takes place after you have a home under contract. Upfront underwriting means that you are fully approved, that it's not just a pre-approval letter. It is guaranteed that you guys have the funds, documents have been checked, pay stubs have been submitted, employment has been verified, everything is good to go. This also puts you in a position where you can close on the property much sooner than a typical traditional buyer can. Most traditional buyers, when using financing, are typically able to close in 25 to 30 days. Going through upfront underwriting can allow you to close in as little as 2 weeks. Another item is an on-time closing guarantee. And this is something that me as the agent is able to do for you. Now, I'm only gonna do this with buyers that I really trust, that have sat down with me for a strategy session and are using our preferred lender. Because what I am doing is I am saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller and listing agent, if this property does not close on time, I'm gonna reduce my commission by $1,000, $2,000, essentially giving the sellers a little more peace of mind in the certainty of closing, that if it doesn't close on time, we're going to offer up some of my commission to make sure that they feel good about the situation. Next thing we're going to talk about is your earnest money deposit. Your earnest money deposit is essentially a good faith deposit. It's money up front that we are submitting essentially with our offer that says, hey, here's a chunk of money. We are going to move forward on this property. Typically, earnest money is roughly about 1% of the purchase price of the property. Now, those funds are held in the listing broker's trust account until closing and get applied to your down payment at closing should you make it to closing. So if you really want to win on a property, we always suggest increasing the amount of earnest money that you are putting down. It makes you look like a stronger buyer in the seller's eyes. And if you want to take it one step further, take your entire down payment and offer that as earnest money. That's what we call putting your money where your mouth is. You see, when we're in multiple offers, oftentimes the sellers are trying to determine who you are as the buyer from a sheet of paper and a bunch of numbers. So if we can have those numbers reflect your strength and your financial ability to move forward on this home, it's going to give you a leg up. Another big item is working with the seller's closing date. Most sellers have an ideal date in mind of when they want to close on their property. So if you can hit that date, let's just call it June 30th because it's my wife's birthday. If we can call it June 30th and you are able to close on June 30th, that's a huge leg up for you. Now, let's say you've already gone through that upfront underwriting and the sellers want to close on June 30th, but it's June 1st. We could write our offer and we could actually close in 2 weeks, but give the sellers additional possession time until the 30th. Now they've got the peace of mind that they've closed on the property, their check is in hand, and they can now close with certainty on their next property. One thing your agent should definitely be doing for you is writing a clean offer. Now, what does a clean offer mean? Well, a clean offer is just that. It's something that's very clean, easy to read. It's not all marked up, doesn't have things crossed off on it. It's something that is going to be easily ingestible digestible by the listing agent. We offer a cover sheet that highlights all the main points of the offer so that agent doesn't have to read the entire offer to really understand just what we're offering. A clean offer is also going to be an offer that is submitted to the listing agent in one PDF. That PDF is going to include all documentation for that file and for that offer, including your pre-approval letter, including all other addendums that maybe the sellers wanted you to sign. Everything is going to be included in one PDF. I can tell you as a listing agent, I can't stand when somebody submits an offer and there's 10 different files that are attached to that offer. The last item that we're going to talk about in this video is a letter to the sellers, and I want to take it a step further and possibly make it a video to the sellers. Sit down with you, your significant other, or by yourself, or with your family, or with your dog, and tell them why you love that home, how much you fell in love with it, and how you will be a steward to that home for the foreseeable future, and you are going to take just as good a care of it as they did, and you look forward to creating all kinds of memories just like they did. Selling a home is a very emotional experience, and if we can, we want to tug at the seller's heartstrings as much as possible. We can put you into a position where you can win without being the highest price because simply the sellers have fallen in love with you. Now, not every listing agent is going to submit these love letters to their sellers, and the reason behind that is simply because there can be some discrimination issues if one offer is chosen over another and there is something that could be discriminatory in the letter. So it's important you don't talk too much about family, marital status, any of that type of stuff, but in the same breath, I say, you know what, lay it all out there, let the listing agent decide if they're gonna submit them, and hey, if it took you 20 to 30 minutes to write that letter to possibly give you a leg up, but the listing agent decided not to present it to the sellers, it was worth a shot. All right, stick around for video number 3 coming at you quick.